so we're here today with Wendell and Galina. Wendell is marketing director for Magnepan. Galina is his lovely wife. Today's Saturday, and they both drove all the way today specifically to introduce to our client base this prototype speaker we're calling it
concept. No, it's
concept.
not a speaker. It's
Yes,
not a speaker.
Concept. We're calling it affectionately the Mini 30.7.
Yeah, for 30.7 for condos.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
So
yes.
the idea behind it is that the 30.7 was a huge raving success where the sound was concerned. Everybody who has heard it, who's had the fortune of hearing it, just stunned by how wonderful the speakers are. Problem is, in order for panels, panels to fill a room, to get the bass and all that kind of stuff, it has to be big. There's no physical way around it.
Mm-hmm.
So Wendell and his team decided, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's figure out a way to make these speakers so that they'll fit into a smaller room, into a condo, and yet maintain, if at all possible, a performance level that client would not be unimpressed with or be disappointed by.
That's right.
So
it's a physics problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the physics problem first. So what is the problem with making a smaller panel? What happens? What do you lose?
Wow. Do you really want to get that
in 2
far
minutes.
in?
In 2 minutes.
No, you can't.
In 2 minutes.
I asked my husband,
Yes.
make a speaker narrow
Okay.
and tall,
Right.
so invisible.
Right.
So I would like to enjoy live music.
There we go.
I'm raised in Russia.
Right.
We cannot have money to buy expensive speakers,
Right.
but we go to the real concert orchestra.
For just a few
theater.
rubles,
Yeah,
very
very
inexpensive.
affordable.
They could listen to more live music than the Americans could because it was so inexpensive.
Yep. So I enjoy live music, and
By
when
the way,
I
one of my favorite albums of all time is Mercury Living Presence,
Yeah.
Balalaika Favorites. One of my favorite albums of all time. I have it here somewhere. I'll show it to you later.
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
So I prefer Russian classical music like Tchaikovsky, Nutcracker,
Yes.
Swan Lake,
Yes.
and it's so touchable. It's
Yes.
so inside of my soul, and I like drug. I want it again and
Right.
again and again, and I want to have that live music at my home.
Right.
But we have such a little room,
Yeah.
and no.
So the cobbler kids do not have shoes.
Right.
The cobbler doesn't have shoes. I mean, we live in a little townhouse. We have a wood stove. We're the only one in our complex that has a wood stove. And so there, on the left side, the left channel, there is no space.
No
There's
space.
maybe 14. We could probably put an LRS on that little slot, but the couch would block it.
Right.
So we need a tall line source. So you could say, in a sense, we wanted a high-end speaker that would fit in our little townhouse, and that's why I dubbed it 30.7 for condos.
Okay.
The very best that high-end audio that a Magnepan could offer, but in a space. But it becomes a physics problem.
Yeah, physics.
Now that's.
It's
It's all about the mid bass.
Okay.
So we're here to the hybrid speakers have all we've listened to all of them. In fact, I remember years ago Jim Winey built a hybrid and it sounded like a hybrid because you're mixing a monopole and a dipole.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make the same kind of sound as a 30.7, you have to obey the same laws of physics that 30.7 or a large panel speaker do in terms of the wave launch. So that's what we set out to do.
Okay.
Now that's, you can talk about it and get reviews, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's cynical. There's so many good reviews out. We thought we're going to have to take it on the road, and we completed the 30.7 tour. Thought that was the end, but I thought, no, we're going to have to show this because nobody's going to believe it.
Okay.
So we're here to show it's all about mid-bass integration.
Right.
The mids and highs are not a problem, and this is the elements out of a 30.7 for the mids and highs. So it's good. That's accepted. But that's not why we took it on the road. We wanted to show that there's a way to do the integration properly with all dipoles. We call it double dipole because it's the base is dipole, the mids and highs are dipole, but they're of two different types. So it's really, the proof is in the pudding.
So the point of this tour, this short tour, at least for now, is to first of all get feedback from visitors to see if they agree that the coherence is there, that the integration is there, and also at the same time to get feedback about what else you could do to this potential prototype system that might make it so that a buyer would want a system like this.
Well, that's easy. We don't have to bring it here. 6 feet, it's dressed in its underwear. It's got a black bag over it, but you don't need to see a photo of it. We invite people to go look at it, but there's nothing to see. That's why we got it behind this scrim cloth. We don't want you looking at this raw driver. It's 6 feet tall, 12 inches wide, 1.5 inches thick, and it's got a black bag over it. Now, do you need to see that? No, you can see that in your mind. We don't need to bring that on tour. We're only here for really one reason. The customers' audiophiles have good reason to be cynical or disbelieving that we've achieved mid-bass integration. The deep bass is not a problem. Mids and highs are not a problem. It's that transition where all hybrids have an image problem, because you read a review about a hybrid speaker, they say, wow, they've done it. That you can't hear the transition from the dipole to the monopole. Yes, I can. So I expect people to be cynical or disbelieving, skeptical, that this approach has accomplished it. Now, there's nothing new here. I mean, dipole, sometimes called open baffle speakers, have been around forever. That's not a new idea. Our particular approach to it is a little bit unique, but the dipole speakers or open baffle speakers have made a comeback because of two things: DSP, digital signal processing, and monster Class D amplifiers. You put those two together, and now you can make a dipole woofer do some amazing things. And that's being done, has been done successfully by a lot of Magnepan, some Magnepan customers. So the chat rooms all know about this. So we're not, that isn't the news or what we're showing. We have a unique approach that's never been done in terms of integration. And that is what that's what we can't talk about that because the patent process is in the works. But that's what, all of this is marketing hype unless you can actually prove it. And that's the sole reason for the trip.